I do a tiny bit of hindsight is 2020 right now. Coxlawton is way, way too big for excellent aurora viewing in the darkness, like when you go out into the wilderness and all you see is black, black, black. Too much ambient light. Yes, you will see the northern lights, but I wouldn't pay to stay here. There are too many other places, villages that are a little bit less, but it's smaller. I think smaller is the optimum word. My opinion is, though, if you really are set on seeing the northern lights and want to do it the easiest way, take a Hurtigruten cruise up the coast of Norway. They guarantee you will see the northern lights, or they give you a free 1 week cruise. I mean, how can you beat that? We have seen the best lights in Norway up the coast there, especially in the Tromsø and Lofoten areas. Just one person's opinion, but we have been to Kiruna in Sweden twice. This is our third visit to Lapland, Finland. We have been in Norway 3 times, Alaska twice. So I do have some basis. You still will probably see the northern lights no matter where you go, but for the price, here at Coxlawton, you can go to a smaller resort. I really should have, I was thinking about, I don't know how you pronounce it, Rovaniemi, the big ski resort. There's a resort there called the Treehouse that looked really, really good. Also expensive. You're not going to find cheap if you want to stay in a heated accommodation where you don't have to step outside to see the northern lights. I'm really bummed because people staying in the igloos last night did see the lights. The alarm never went off in the Kellos, even though I went out twice, including at 1:37 in the morning, and didn't see any. Oh well, win some, lose some. I asked reception how they work the aurora alerts. They have somebody who's on duty at the desk all night. Like every 15 minutes, the poor guy has to run out, take a look at the sky, and if he sees any aurora at all, press the button and pray that it doesn't disappear by the time everybody runs out of their cabins. Trivia, every time I look at my rocking chair, I think of John Wayne in The Searchers, an oldie but goodie, and Mose. Ethan, all I want is a rocking chair somewhere. It was not easy to find a decent place to sit in this huge cabin for videoing purposes. Let's finish up with hindsight is 2020. I cannot compare the 2 different places that we stayed on this trip up into Lapland because they're totally different. Aurora Village was small. It only had like 25 cabins, Aurora igloo cabins. And this place has hundreds of accommodation. So there's no comparison between a smaller resort or a bigger. They both offer the same things, snowmobiling, except Aurora Village, they give you snowshoes and cross-country skis free of charge, whereas here you pay for absolutely everything. The food, that I can't compare. The food was much better at Aurora Village. Really, really surprisingly good food. The food here, as I've said several times, is good. It's what I consider typical buffet food. Nothing wrong with it. There's plenty to choose from, but it's typical buffet food. If you have not seen the Northern Lights, I want to encourage you at least once in your life to come on up here. There are many Japanese, Chinese, and people from Taiwan up here doing their once-in-a-lifetime Northern Lights viewing. At one time they had charter flights, many charter flights, from Japan to Alaska that were crowded in the wintertime. What else can I tell you? Whenever you come up to any of the Scandinavian countries, it is more expensive than being in Central Europe. So that is a given. You are not going to find a place on the cheap unless you find a little boarding house pension. Prepare to get very little sleep because you have got to keep watching for those elusive lights. I think that's part of the reason why it is just so exciting when all of a sudden you see that tinge in the distance, and if you pick up a camera and see some green, you are seeing the northern lights. Once again, it has to do with humans, rods and cones in our eyeballs, that we do not pick up the electrical particles. A camera does.